Have you ever played with a sand castle? Built a nice, huge sand castle, or an intricate, detailed sand castle, or even a little sand castle? You walk away for a couple of minutes, you come back, and some other kid has smashed it. Well, when you spend years developing your businesses, your family photos, cultivating your friendship network, um, when it all comes suddenly crashing down, this being not the first time, it feels sort of like a partial lobotomy. And I don't think I'm using hyperbole because I, if I want to talk to somebody, some people use text message, others use messenger. And if you want to be able to reach everybody, you have to use both. Some people prefer messenger for communication. Some people prefer text. And I would submit if they can take away one, they can take away the other. So I go to my phone. I want to talk to my friend on Messenger. I click Messenger, and this is what I see right now. I don't have a way to contact my friends. I don't have a way to access my family photos. I don't have a way to see how anybody's doing. Anybody who I am staying in touch with using Facebook, I'm not able to. And when you say this is a private business, well, first of all, no, it isn't. You know it's not a private business. This is a monopoly. And this monopoly was incubated in a non-private fashion. It is a public-private relationship, which stifles the First Amendment right of free speech by proxy. And that is, of course, unlawful. So I was saying before, it feels like a partial lobotomy. And I don't think you could understand that unless it happened to you, per se. I think there are people who have more empathy, some more than others. But I think to really understand what it's like, you would have to have it happen to you. You might choose one day to back up all your photos. Maybe photos don't matter to you. I will give it a 10 out of 10. Photos do matter to me because it helps me remember. It helps me to restore the novelty of the memory to it's the way that my mind works. I access portions of my memories with the help of context. So when you take a photo away from me, although I am able to access that memory, there's a certain enrichment of the memory that is permanently destroyed. And that feels like a partial lobotomy. And it's not all such a terrible thing. It's liberating to realize how much time gets wasted on this stupid app. And you remember that why the only reason you were back on it in the first place was to kind of come back in and try to rescue others from the illusion of thinking that that it's possible to be free when the public square is captured. We are social creatures by definition. We depend upon one another by definition. And when you delete your access to the public square, it deletes also your sources of income, especially if you're like me and you do private businesses in order to maintain yourself and to maintain your family's needs. Income, networking, communications, family photos, memories. It hurts. It's painful. It's not something that you can really come to expect, because if you can make the choice to leave Facebook, back up your photos, or even don't, it's a choice. But if that public square is suddenly, without warning, taken away from you, it hurts. And it's a pain that I will alchemize. I will convert to something that will help me to grow as a person. It will help me to remember, like when I was in the mountains, what it was like to not have any kind of scrolling habits, or to just spend more time with my family. So this will help me to grow, but that doesn't make it right. It doesn't mean that what was done to me again and again was not a violation, because that is the definition of violation. It is a God-given right. Your rights aren't given to you by government. Government is enshrined with the protection of your pre-existing God-given rights, or if you prefer, your natural rights, which is two turns of the same coin in this context, because we're talking about inalienable rights, which existed prior to any government, which will continue to exist after any given government. And the only thing that makes our country the light on the hill is that it is cemented in that document called the U.S. Constitution. Those also the Bill of Rights, the Articles of Confederation, the Maybury Compact, all of it. It's all one bundle. The Declaration of Independence, of course. Why would I forget? It's one bundle that is designed to enumerate what already is your inalienable rights. So, where does this leave us? Well, first of all, I don't, just because Facebook deleted me, I do still exist. And while the 250,000 viewers that I had in the last, prior I had 250,000 views in 90 days. It dropped down to 160,000 views this last 90 days. So I need to add up the number of views. And viewership doesn't matter, but another thing that if it helps the listener to understand, when you build a business and a media empire, it being just my little sandcastle, it's not nothing worth writing home about. But when you lose 250,000 or more viewership, it's like having your voice box ripped out. So I don't think I'm being dramatic when I say it's like I've had a partial lobotomy, and it's like I've had my voice box ripped out. And that's why they call it a violation, because I was violated. If only for an hour, or a day, or a month, or a year, or since the last time, it was 2020 or 2021, the last time this happened. Let's see. When was it? 2021, February 24th, 2021, the last time this happened to me. And they made me submit my photo ID under duress. and then they disabled the account anyway. So I feel they just wanted to collect they wanted to, see if they could stick me with anything, which I don't think they'd be able to do because I don't feel I've done anything wrong. Across the board, I might mention YouTube has done this to me, Twitter. And it's all because of my beliefs, which are protected. My beliefs, I have a right to express. That's the point, isn't it? So while you might think I need to just follow the procedures of a corporation, which is captured by proxy, by proxy, an extension, an instrument of government, of deep state, I feel, my opinion. When they engaged in that partnership with government, when they became the public square, they didn't have the right to take it away. They just did it anyway. And what you need to understand is, if they can do it to me, they can do it to you. So please go to this page, zchg.org/ this page here would be, actually you can do it like this, lovelettermedia.org. And that will redirect temporarily to this page. That will give you a list of bookmarks. And you can copy this into Notepad or something, or send it as a message to yourself or to friends. And if you want, you can also bookmark it. Control B, bookmark. But please do try to memorize this one at least, zchg.org. Can you do that for me? Can you memorize zchg.org? And these other two are pretty easy to memorize as well. lovelettermedia.org, josephkmedia.org. It's sort of like the legs of a table. It's sort of like the legs of a table. When they rip out one leg, the table is still standing, but it's wobbly. If they're going to come and they're going to rip out another, the table will still stand, but it will be even more wobbly because the one links to the other. And I'll even go so far as to say, this being kind of a modern contrivance, it's no accident that ZCHG is a neural network. And so it's an extension of myself. So when we have this neural network that has links to Facebook, and those links get destroyed, I don't have a readily available means to relay to you what those thoughts and communications were at the time. Those are now as if they did not exist. They are a nullity. So when I create an extension of myself, a digital identity, and it gets ripped away from me, it hurts. But I intend to grow from this also. Let's go over this website really quick. These are the reasons, by the way, that they said I was spamming. Because I linked to this one, zchg.org/social media censorship, water and healing. That's my trimaran's business. Teller County misconduct, important. What are they so afraid of? And this to me is telling. This to me tells myself, that if this is construed as spam and what they're so afraid of, and this being the whole reason I created Love Letter Media, Joseph K. Media, is Facebook. part of this RICO situation? I think it is. I think they've turned in evidence on themselves. That's my opinion. Notwithstanding the violation that occurred yesterday, today being the 3rd of August, 2025. The violation that occurred yesterday was a standalone violation. And it is deserving of a class action lawsuit because I know I'm not the only one. And I can't wait for that class action to make its rounds. Part and parcel to all this, however, is the judiciary. Until the judiciary is restored, we're going to be waiting around for those class actions to make good. We're going to be waiting around for justice. Speaking of justice and the common law, I had created several, public common law posts. And a lot of evidence was destroyed or attempted to be destroyed by Facebook, by Meta, in my opinion. For example, this timely common law public notice, for which a letter was sent. Are they now going to claim that they didn't have access to it, even though this was dated April 25th, so they would have had plenty of time to look into it? But are they now going to claim that they didn't have a way to see what I had communicated to them in the public square? I'm really glad this got preserved. Shortly before Jim Bishop passed away, I developed a friendship over there, and I reposted this, which was a picture which had Jim Bishop sitting in front of it, and they reposted it, and I thought that was really endearing, especially given that he passed away shortly after. But you can see all these links now, which I did happen to back up in video form, so it's not like anything disappeared. And I do have several full backups from Facebook, but I don't make those backups every day, so there's definitely some data lost, or at least wouldn't be lost. I'd say it's lost, but I wouldn't say it's permanently lost. I'm sure a subpoena could resurrect it if the judiciary were healthy. So do you see how this all plays together? If you don't have a healthy public square, if you don't have a healthy judiciary to restore the public square, if you've got private corporations acting like they are public and public utilizing the private by proxy, you got a problem. Because they are shirking the law, essentially, in my opinion. Oh, look, there's my oath that I had taken, saying that this was all my oath or affirmation, saying this was all correct. Can you do that? Can you get rid of public evidence? I don't know. I don't think you can. Not without legal repercussions, lawful repercussions. Any case, I'm not going to go away. I'm not going to go quietly into the night. This is a speed bump. And like any speed bump, as soon as the speed bump passes, it's time to go back to normal operating speed. So you'll hear from me soon as I gather my loins. Take care. God bless, as Bill Cooper would say, each and every one of you. Take care. God bless.